Hey friends, it's Anita Cordell, KCadvocate.com, and I am your local Kansas City real estate agent or realtor advocate. Call me whatever you would like. I represent Kansas City and am licensed in both Kansas and Missouri, so there's a little bit of a gnat or something flying around my face. So today we are going to talk about loyalty to your agents as a buyer and what a buyer's agency contract entails. And the reason why I am talking about this is because if you are a buyer out there wanting to purchase a property, then you are going to be handed a contract from the agent that you're having show you around. Now, as far as this contract is concerned, it's not scary. It is just basically, it's called an exclusive buyer's agency contract. And the way that I explain it to my buyers is that if you want me to fully represent you, disclosing anything that I know of about the property and going on to bat on your behalf, then we have to have this contract. And basically, it's not scary or anything. It's actually there to protect you and to be able to give you more information about the property, because we as agents, if you don't have a contract with us, we aren't really actually supposed to disclose everything about what we know regarding the property. So it's in your best interest to get a contract signed with that agent to know as much as you can about the properties that you're looking at. So with that being said, this contract, the most simplest way that I can describe it to a buyer is that it's very, in layman's terms, it's like a marriage contract. We are exclusive one to another. I represent you, and you in turn hire me to be an agent for you. And that's why it's called exclusive. You can't, you actually sign this contract stating that you're not going to go out and sign another contract with another agent and have that agent go and show you around, or this agent over here showing you around, or calling this agent off this, number off the sign and having them go and show you the property. No, if you're going to sign an exclusive buyer's agency agreement with me, then we work hand in hand through this until you're done. I have actually had a couple of instances through my years. I got licensed in 2001, and so this subject has come up a few times regarding loyalty. And let's just talk about this a little bit, because it has happened to me a couple of times, and it's happened to pretty much every agent that I know of throughout their tenure of agency. And so if you are a buyer out there, listen up, because this is important. There have been a couple of times that a buyer has actually signed a contract with me, and I have shown them tons of properties. Especially in a seller's market, it's not uncommon for a buyer to write several offers on homes. So I've written several offers with a buyer, and even looked at FSBOs with this buyer or these buyers. And for whatever reason, they go out, and even though they know about the industry, they feel like they want to save a buck, and they go out, and without me knowing about it, or without my agent friends knowing about it, they go and they write an offer on a FSBO of sorts and leave me out of the deal. In my opinion, that hurts relationships, and it does not help at all the loyalty that needs to occur. And so when you are a buyer out there, there's some ethics that you are responsible for as well. Agents are at a higher standard, and I don't have a problem with that. I want to make sure that I'm held ethically as well. But when you come and you take months and months of time from an agent, and then you go behind an agent's back and do that kind of stuff, that in my mind is very unethical. And we're going to go a little faith here, because I base my business on faith, and I really don't believe that God works that way and doesn't treat people that way. And it's all about how you want to be treated. And so when it comes to a buyer's agency agreement, if you have, and I'm just logging into here because I've got the buyer's agency agreement pulled up right now just so that if there's something that comes on. But basically this buyer's agency agreement is you sign it and you represent and you say, I don't have any other agents and I hire you to do all of my negotiating. You perform the terms of this contract, that you handle my money, my earnest money, you give me referrals, what have you. You help me walk through the inspection period, you talk to the title company, what have you. And I've had this happen I've had this happen just a couple of times where even I've walked through a contract. I've referred inspectors, various contracts of people. We've walked through it. I've gotten the title company all set up, whatever. And then something happens to that contract and it falls through. And then all of a sudden, my buyer behind my back goes and uses all those connections that I've had, all, like the title company, the inspectors, the whole bit, and they go to a FSBO and, walk through the whole entire contract. So basically, agents, it hasn't happened very many times. Only, like I said, just a few times, maybe 3 in 15 years or whatever. Most buyers out there are very loyal to their agent. But I did want to talk about the buyer's agency agreement. It's really like a marital contract. And it comes down sometimes to what is the right thing to do when it comes to buying a house. And I'll give you a story. This story actually happened to my husband and I. We bought our house prior to me becoming a licensed real estate agent, and our agent walked through 6 months of looking for a house. Our very first house, it took us about 6 months to find something. And we, in the midst of all of that, we saw a FSBO. And we called on it, and we went and looked at it, and we didn't know the ins and outs of agency, and I was not a seller's disclosure, or I wasn't an agent at that time. But we went in and we looked, and we absolutely loved the house. We absolutely did. And we talked to them about whether or not they would let our agent represent us through the deal, and if they would take care of that commission, and they said no. So Nathan and I, we had to make a decision. We had to make a decision on whether or not we were going to be loyal to our agent and maintain the hard work that agent had done, or if we were going to buy that FSBO and leave our agent out of the deal. And Nathan and I, we prayed about it, and we felt very strongly about our loyalty, and we felt like the relationship was more important than having the house, and we walked away from it. So I am not at all coming here from an example of one that hasn't walked through it herself. We did, and then we found a better house, and I believe that it was because we were loyal to withhold a contract that we signed, and we were loyal to that relationship. And I honestly believe that relationships are very important in this industry. And so when you sign that buyer's agency agreement, it's more than just I'm hiring you as an agent and I'm wanting you to be ethical and I'm expecting you to do your job, basically. And I'm expecting you to comply with all of the rules and regulations and laws that govern you. It's a two-way street. Also, too, within this buyer's agency agreement, it talks about compensation, and buyers are not the ones that pay commission. It's the listing, the sellers that pay the commission. So you honestly, I cannot believe any buyer who does not hire an agent, because you don't pay them. The seller does in Kansas and Missouri. So hire an agent, be loyal to them, and allow them to do their job for you, because they will. And by golly, they want you to get a house, and they want to work for you, and they want to do a good job for you, most of them. And so let them do that and stay loyal. That means the world. I have friends who have been loyal to me through the whole entire tenure of me in my journey of selling real estate. And in fact, my very first deal what is still a friend of ours. They've referred us several times, and have bought investment properties, you know, so it's like way back then. So loyalty. In the buyer's agency agreement, it also discusses how agents can work for you. There are several different ways, and I do disclosed designated agent, which is where I solely work for you. But there are other forms and ways that through a transaction that could change and what have you. So, you know, sign that agreement. Don't expect an agent to run you all over town without signing it. It's not scary. It's just what has to comply with the rules and the governing laws that support our agency and our licenses, because we want to do the best that we can for you. We want to represent you as good as what we can. So yes, the buyer's agency agreement is something that needs to be signed if you want representation, which I don't know why anybody wouldn't want representation. And be sure, and when you're driving through these neighborhoods as well, if you sign, or if you see a sign and you see somebody's name and their phone number, give that number and give that information to your agent, whether it's a FSBO or whether it's a listing. Give that number to the agent and let them get the information for you so that you're always represented and always protected. So if you have any questions, send me a message. You can find my website at ctadvocate.com.